Hello dear students, welcome to again another new episode of Chinmoy's Biology channel. So today we are going to discuss about the gaseous exchange in lungs and tissues. So this is a very important topic. So in the previous episode I have already discussed about what is respiration, what is breathing, what are the different phases of respiration and breathing, and what is the main difference between respiration and breathing. I have also discussed about the anaerobic respiration and aerobic respiration. So please go through that video. And if you have not gone to that, I'll be sharing the link in the description box as well as in the I link above. So let us get started with today's episode. So today we are going to discuss about two main things. So first is the blood supply. How is the blood supply to the lungs? And the second one is the gaseous exchange in the lungs and the tissues. That is the alveolar gaseous exchange we will be studying about. So alveolar gaseous exchange is the main important topic of discussion of today. So if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel to know more regarding not only this lesson but also the upcoming lessons and the revision part which I'll be doing before your final exam. So stay tuned, stay updated, and if you have any queries, any doubts, write in my comment box so that I can get back to you with the answers in the next episode. So let us get started. Now first, blood supply to the lungs. So let us see what is happening and how the blood is being supplied to the lungs. Now the right auricle of the heart, it receives the deoxygenated blood and it sends it to the lungs for purification, right? So the deoxygenated blood from the right auricle is sent to the lungs through the pulmonary artery. This we all know because we have already studied the lesson of circulation. Now next, this pulmonary artery divides into two branches, and each branch it enters into the respective right and the left lung. So each branches are entering the lung, and then these branches they further subdivide to several times to form capillaries. So we all know that the alveoli, they are surrounded by a lot number of capillaries. So these pulmonary artery in the form of branching capillaries, they are surrounding the alveoli. So these capillaries are arranged around the air sacs or the alveoli. Now then what is happening? The veins arising from these capillaries, they join several times and they form two pulmonary veins. So the artery is bringing the deoxygenated blood. It is branching into several capillaries. These capillaries are covering this full alveoli or the air sacs, and again two pulmonary veins, they are arising from each lung. And these pulmonary veins are again pouring oxygenated blood to the left auricle of the heart. So this is the process which is happening between the heart and the lungs. So deoxygenated blood is coming or is being brought to the lungs by the pulmonary artery, and then after the infusion or after being purified in the lungs, it is again being divided into two pulmonary veins, and from each lung it is going out, and then it is being received by the left auricle of the heart. Now let us concentrate in this diagram a bit. Now you can see here the blood is coming from the pulmonary artery. It is being branched into capillary. This is the alveolar membrane, which is actually very thin, and this is the respiratory membrane. Now there is a surfactant fluid here lining the alveoli. It is a surfactant fluid which is lining the alveoli. So then what is happening, as the alveoli, after breathing, the alveolar part, the alveoli is always rich in oxygen. So the oxygen from the alveoli is diffused into the capillaries, and the carbon dioxide rich blood which was bringing the deoxygenated blood which was being brought by the pulmonary artery, the carbon dioxide was more in that blood. So we know that diffusion is happening from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. So I think you have already gone through the lesson where I have taught you diffusion and osmosis. So please go through it, then it will be easier here. So oxygen in alveoli is more, so it is diffusing into the blood in the capillaries. So here the hemoglobin gets enriched with oxygen, and here the carbon dioxide was rich in this hemoglobin, and that is diffusing into the alveoli, and from the alveoli it is being we can say that it is being exhaled through the process of exhalation. Okay, so inhalation, we are inhaling air which is having more oxygen in it, and we are exhaling carbon dioxide with the exhalation process. And the blood, what is happening to the blood? The blood is being oxygenated, so it has become oxygen rich now, Now it is being the capillaries are now here divided into two pulmonary veins, and they are carried to the left auricle. So is it clear to everyone? It is the clear process. It is the process which I have tried to discuss in detail. So this is what is happening in the gaseous exchange between the alveoli and the capillaries. So we will go to details and we'll break up these things again into different slides. So let us move on to the next slide. Now, same thing I have told you in earlier part also. So what is happening here? We can say that here what is happening in the concentration of oxygen is higher in the lung alveoli. I have told you earlier, in the lung alveoli the concentration of oxygen is higher. So this because the diffusion depends on the concentration gradient only. So please learn this diagram. Along with that, the points which I have discussed, it's in the form of notes. So I have tried to make it easier in the form of, I have given in the form of notes. So try to learn these points and it will be easier for you to write in the exam. So recalling will be easier. So concentration of oxygen is higher in the lungs than in the deoxygenated blood in the capillaries, and this difference, what is this difference causing? The oxygen to diffuse from the alveoli into the blood capillaries. Okay, and since the diffusion continues as long as the molecules concerned are equally distributed. So what does this mean? This means that the oxygen concentration in the alveoli as well as the oxygen concentration in the capillaries should be equal. Is it clear? So till the concentration in both the places is equal, the diffusion continues. So as soon as both the places of oxygen is equal, the diffusion process stops. Now next, the blood contained in the capillaries has high concentration of carbon dioxide, which it has absorbed from the tissues. So from the body tissues, this carbon dioxide is being absorbed in the capillaries, and this is diffusing in the alveoli because the concentration of carbon dioxide in the capillaries is higher. Therefore, carbon dioxide diffuses out from the blood capillaries into the alveoli. So this same process is happening. This is also the gaseous exchange in lungs, and this is the notes which I have made for you. So let us move on to the next one. Now here see in the tissues, the oxygen is used in various metabolic activities. So as soon as our body is getting oxygen, it is being used in several metabolic activities. We know that oxygen is used in all the metabolic activities at the tissue level, at the cellular level. We are using oxygen for the breakdown and other metabolic activities. Okay. So hence in tissues the concentration of oxygen is less than in the capillaries. So carbon dioxide is present in greater concentration in the tissues than in capillaries. So as in the tissues carbon dioxide is more than the capillaries, so then from the tissues it diffuses into the capillaries, and from the capillaries the carbon dioxide is diffusing into the alveoli. So this is passing through the concentration gradient. From the higher concentration, the carbon dioxide is diffusing to a region of lower concentration. Is it clear? Now therefore oxygen is diffusing from the blood capillaries to the tissues and body cells, and carbon dioxide is diffusing from the body cells to the capillaries. So this is what is happening in the gaseous exchange in between the tissues and the lungs and the alveoli. So from the tissues, the carbon dioxide being absorbed to the capillaries. From the capillaries, the carbon dioxide is given to the alveoli. So it passes on like a chain system from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. And again, this oxygen rich alveoli, air in the alveoli, it is passing on to the capillaries as the oxygen in the capillaries is less. So this is the simple mechanism of respiration where it is happening in the cellular level, or we can say that the gaseous exchange in between the tissues and the alveoli. Okay, so gaseous exchange is happening in between the tissues and the alveoli in this way. So we should be very clear about this. So once we are clear about this diagram, we will be clear about this notes also. So go through it, learn it properly. Now we will see what the hemoglobin is doing. Now we all know what is hemoglobin, right? So hemoglobin is a respiratory pigment which is present in the human beings, and it takes up oxygen from the air in the lungs and carries it to the tissues having the deficiency of oxygen. Okay, so if this is the hemoglobin, it is present in the blood capillaries. So oxygen, when it is diffusing out from the alveoli to the blood capillaries, it is combining with the hemoglobin. So it is making it oxyhemoglobin. Okay, so it is a red blood cell which is having the pigment of it is a red blood pigment which is a respiratory pigment which is carrying oxygen. So oxygen is bound to it when it is absorbed from the alveoli to the capillary. So it is present in the red blood cells, and due to high affinity of oxygen, it binds with oxygen molecules very fast and carries it to the tissues across the body. So oxygen which was diffusing from the alveoli to the capillaries, so it was diffusing from the alveoli to the capillaries, right? So it was diffusing from the alveoli to the capillaries, and from the capillaries it is combining, so oxygen is combining with the hemoglobin. So then it is carried to different parts of the body or the tissues, and it is helping in other metabolic activities. So it is forming oxyhemoglobin. So it is forming a compound called oxyhemoglobin, and it is being carried to different parts of the body for performing different activities, like performing various metabolic activities. So this is all for this lesson and this part, sorry. So the next upcoming lesson will be on the part where I'll be discussing you that when does a person's breathing rate or rate of breathing it is increasing. So why it is increasing and how it is increasing we'll be discussing in the next class. So to know more about what I'm bringing for the next topic next day, you need to subscribe to my channel. You need to stay tuned, stay updated, and don't forget to press the bell icon and share my videos with your friends or the person you know are studying 8th, 9th and 10th ICSE. So please do share my lesson, and as you are getting all the lessons free of cost. If you are having any doubts, any queries, please do write in my comment box. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.